Alt Rock Radio Now is recorded and produced at Music City Studio in Kelowna, BC. Music City Studio is a recording studio and rehearsal space that also hosts jam nights and runs workshops and courses. Visit musiccitystudio.ca for more details. Touring musicians welcome. Welcome to episode 13 of Alt Rock Radio Now. My name is Vincent Jones and I'm your host. And I'm joined here in the studio by Mike Pedersen and Valaura Vedan. You can't see this, obviously, but we've got a bit of a different setup here this week. We've moved things over into the live room of the studio. Previously we were in the,
Control room.
The control room, where Mike does all his magic. But we've changed things up. I don't really know why I'm telling you this, but we're sat in a sort of different dynamic here this week. It's kind of cool. It's kind of comfortable and cozy, and we're looking forward to having a good chat. So
I spend a lot of time on that side of the glass, so I thought, come over on this side for once.
Yeah, and previously, like, the way the setup was, just to give you an idea, like, Mike sort of had to turn to look at us, but now we get to see his beautiful face, like, full on, 100%. He only turns away if he wants to turn away, so...
We're so lucky.
I know, right? This is getting weird. Let's get into a song, okay? Our first song this week comes from Shy Nature, and they're an alternative rock quartet out of North London, and the band put out a brand new single earlier this week. It came out just on February 17th, and we're going to listen to it now. This is Lie Back.
Lie back on the chair and put your head backwards, your head backwards. Lie back on the chair and put your head backwards, your head backwards. Open up so I can see it. Open up, don't want to see your eyes closing. Lie back on the chair and put your head backwards, your head backwards. Lie back on the chair and put your head backwards, your head backwards. Open up so I can see it. Open up, don't want to see your eyes closing. And I don't care if you've had enough. Carry on till you are broken. And I don't care if you've had enough. Carry on, 'cause you can't stop us. Open up so I can see it. Open up, don't want to see your eyes closing. Open up so I can see it. Open up,
once again, that was Shy Nature with their song Lie Back. All right, so me and V were recently in New York City, as you know, Mike.
I do, yeah.
We've sort of talked about it a little bit amongst ourselves, but we haven't gone into all the details. And I won't bore everyone out there with like the full-on itinerary right now, although V did write a really great piece about it, actually, about our trip, if you want to.
I did. So I wrote, it actually ended up being like a 2,300-word essay about the trip, including our entire 2-day itinerary and a whole bunch of photos. So for those of you who don't know, I'm kind of a hobby photographer. So I think the photos are pretty rad. I've heard good things about them. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll get that posted up probably in the next couple of days here from when you guys are hearing this. You guys can check it out if you want. If you basically want to like do the boring slideshow snapshot of our vacation, if that interests you, you can go for it.
Well, and I didn't mean that like it's boring to read about the whole thing, because like it's interesting, but I mean certainly because we crammed so much into like 2 days. But what I meant here is I won't go through the whole thing. I'll just sort of mention the highlights. Mm-hmm. So I think the main highlights, and maybe you can correct me if you think I'm wrong here, V, but I think we agree.
Okay.
I'm thinking Brooklyn Bridge. So what we did one night is we went over to Brooklyn and we walked back over the Brooklyn Bridge around 11 a.m. on was it a Saturday night?
Yeah, that
Did
was
I say
Saturday.
11 a.m.? I meant 11 p.m.
Yeah.
on a Saturday night. So we walked back over the bridge. You can see Manhattan, you know, the city with all the lights. And it's just a really great walk. It was such a great experience. And we sort of talked about if you live there, it's a sort of walk we do all the time. Right. You know, just jump on the subway and do that walk, because it was so much fun.
It was really peaceful too.
Yeah.
It was like, because we don't really take breaks during a vacation. We don't sit around ever. So it's kind of always rushing from point A to point B and like getting as much stuff crammed in it as possible, which is awesome. I love that. But it was nice. It was like the nice, calm, relaxing part.
It was interesting though. It was like urban calm, because you've got all the cars going by and you can see them, but you're elevated.
Right.
And so, you know, there's all these vehicles going down below. But then the other probably main highlight was we went to the Met, which was fantastic. It's such a great gallery. So like the building itself is a work of art, and then the collection there is just phenomenal. So we had a wonderful time there. I think probably one of the funny stories that happened to us there was a couple of them. We got lost in Brooklyn. We got sort of turned around, and it was dusk. It was dark. We didn't really know where we were going. And my phone was doing this weird thing. I've got an iPhone, but it's never done it before. But because it was cold, it was dying in the cold. Like it would just say it had no battery or whatever. So we're pulling it up on the map for the restaurant we want to go to, and my phone dies. And it's like, oh no. So we sort of know the street where we need to go, but we have no idea what the cross section is, you know, like what block it's on. So V's got a subway map with her. So not very detailed, you know, it's just the subway system. But it gives you a bit of an idea of where certain streets are. So we're in this neighborhood and we don't know whether it's sketchy or what, right? And she's sort of pulling this map out, and she's got this huge camera, because she likes to take photos, as she's already mentioned. And it's, like I say, it's dark, unfamiliar. We don't know if it's a sketchy neighborhood or what. And as she's pulling the map out, this SUV starts honking at us. Just like, eh. And, you know, first time we sort of ignore it. We're like, I'm not sure if that's directed at us or, you know, if it's just sort of for someone to get out of the way. Happens a second time. And I'm like, okay, I think that's kind of in our direction. And I don't really know why. And I was all of a sudden very aware of being sort of a bit lost and being a stranger in this city kind of thing. And then honks again. And so I'm like just about to say to V, maybe we should like slip away from here, you know, like don't really know what's going to go down. Like it doesn't feel good though. Anyway, the guy ends up shouting through his window, "Are you lost?" And he shouts this a couple of times. So in the end, I'm like, yeah, actually, we are kind of lost. And turns out being the nicest guy, gives us directions to where we need to go. So being, you know, having the trepidation kind of taught me a lesson, served me right for being nervous, because he ended up being a really nice guy.
Nice.
So, but that was probably one of the funny stories from it. But basically when we go, we do like these power trips. So we were there for like 2 days, as you know, Mike, and we just crammed so much in. And we just had a fantastic time. And I've probably talked about this longer than I meant to.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, we just had a really great time. And we also saw, getting back to the music, we saw a guy playing on the subway when we were there.
Right, I saw your photo.
Yeah, and that was really cool. You know, he's just set up in the subway and he's just playing some songs. So we got his info, and we're thinking about having him on the show down the road here.
Cool.
But he's not on this week's episode. But we do have some New York bands, which leads me to our second song. It comes from an act out of Brooklyn, New York. You can see what I did there,
nice,
right?
Yeah.
They're called
Your specialty.
I know, right? Just good at leading these things along. Anyway, they're called Small Wonder. Actually, Small Wonder is the moniker of Henry Crawford, and he makes what's described as thoughtful pop or agnostic gospel. It's enjoyable stuff, and the song we're going to listen to is Until I Open My Wings.
Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder. Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder.
I am the moth that grows on stone, and I am the rock that pave your road. And when you inhale, I fill your lungs. When you exhale, don't let me out into the world. Oh, oh, oh,
Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder. Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder.
and I saw her mouth protecting her pearl, putting a scar on the symmetrical world. And I used to dream of such great things, but the moths look like leaves until they open their wings. Oh,
Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder. Each day my heart grows fonder, so one day I'll be your small wonder. Come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. Come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. I am human, only in form and out tread lightly on your light beams, hide it inside to keep me warm. And come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. I am human, only in form. And I'll tread lightly on your light beams, hide it inside to keep me warm. And come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. I am human, only in form. And I'll tread lightly on your light beams, hide it inside to keep me warm. And come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. I am human, only in form. And I'll tread lightly
sweetness
on your
on
light
to me,
beams, hide it
but
inside to
I've
keep
always
me
known
warm. And come on,
you'll have to do
Henry, I'm
this
not
on your
Wendy.
own.
I
I
am
was the
human,
worst
only
of
in
us.
form. And
My arms let loose,
on your light beams, hide it inside to keep me warm. And come on, Henry, I'm not Wendy. I am human, only in form.
whisper the sweetness on to me, but I have always known you'll have to do this on your own.
I am human, only in form.
You'll have to do this on your own. Some days my arms can't hold her. One day she'll be my small wonder. Some days my arms can't hold her. One day she'll be my small wonder.
So once again, that song was from Small Wonder, and it was called Until I Open My Wings. So I hope you guys didn't mind me sort of rambling on about the trip there. I'm talking to everyone out there and you guys here in the studio too. Anyway, the first question I want to ask you guys this week, and I posted this on my personal social media just the other day. I asked my friends who's the favourite band of the moment and why. So I figured I'd pitch it to you guys as well on this week's show and see sort of who you've been listening to lately, like who it doesn't have to be your favourite band, it's just the band of the moment that you're really into. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Lately I find myself very addicted to the 1975 and the Neighborhood. So I think I'm just really infatuated with that kind of English-y sound, that kind of like English indie sound, particularly when it sounds like it's clearly come from the northwest.
Yep.
So like the Manchester area, which I'm familiar with as it happens. So yeah, I think that's probably like my of the moment. I can't even that's all I've been playing for like the last 3 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll come to you in a second, Mike. We'll jump into another song and then
Sure.
can bug you about it. Yeah, sound
Yeah.
good? Okay. Were you ready to go though?
We'll come back to it.
Okay,
It's
we'll
fine,
come
yeah.
back. So next up, we've got a song from another artist based in Brooklyn, New York. And obviously I've got the Empire State on my mind this week, apparently. So I'm glad I'm glad I talked about the trip because now it's all coming together. It'll make sense to you out there. Anyway, the tune comes from Celeste, who previously operated under the name Monarchs. And Celeste's music has folk, hip-hop, and R&B influences. She's got a really great sound that's full of diversity, basically. And you're going to get a taste of her sound right now. This song is called Business Casual.
Business casual, high heels and a pantsuit, lying in an open casket. You got the world looking down on you, and you look so fantastic. Your skin is flawless and your lips are rouge in your open casket. They will watch you when you're falling and you're gaining, giving words to your decay. Post a message from the box inside your office that you're happy and you're okay. Business is good, family is great. Life is looking merry, looking gay. Business casual, high heels and a pantsuit, laying in an open casket. You got the world looking down on you, and you look so fantastic. On satin pillow, shades of blue on blue. Change the status, leave the message that you're happy with your fillet. Dinner was good, family is great. I can't be happier today. Business casual. And you were laying in an open casket. You look so fantastic, laying in your open casket. Climb the hill and get the mail. Take a pen and break the seal. It's a notable affair. And it's asking that you wear business casual. My heels and a pantsuit, lying in an open casket. You got the world looking down on you, and you look so fantastic. Your skin is flawless and your lips are rouge, and your open casket. When you are laying in your open casket.
All right, so once again, that song was Business Casual, and it came from Celeste. All right, Mike, do you want to give us your
Sure.
favorite band of the moment?
Yeah, well, today I kind of had like a rare day off, which was nice, and give me some time to clean up the studio a bit and change some drum heads on drums and all that kind of good stuff. And I brought out the record player and just had some stuff playing through there today. And I was listening to Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, which is a great album. So that was kind of what came to mind for today and something I enjoyed. And then also, we've talked about the Beatles a lot, but there was the, what was it called? The Beatles, The Night That Changed America was the Grammy salute to the Beatles that was on. Did you guys see it?
No, but
No?
I heard about it. Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you guys about it, but I guess
Sorry.
you didn't see it.
Sorry,
But,
no, I've heard about it a lot.
yeah, it was
I don't
pretty.
have TV. So.
I rarely watch TV, but it comes in handy for these sorts of things. But it was pretty cool for the most part. So I was playing Beatles records again today too, just to kind of excited by the whole thing and that. So
Cool. What did you learn anything new from watching?
not really. It was kind of cool to see them in the theater with David Letterman, kind of just talking about memories about the night that it all happened and stuff like that was pretty cool.
So that was in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the performance.
On the Ed Sullivan Show,
That's right,
yeah.
on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, which was like their official American breakout. What was your favorite performance?
I don't know. There was a lot of good ones on there. I was actually surprised by Maroon 5 was pretty good.
I heard that
I've
too.
heard that a
Yeah.
lot.
Mhm.
Their performance, what I liked about it was very true to the sound of the Beatles, whereas some of the other artists sort of took their own direction with the songs, which for some of it I didn't mind. Some of them went a little too far with what they were putting their own sound into it. And that's just like a taste and preference thing for me. But
Yeah.
I was Maroon 5 was pretty cool.
Yeah, we heard that too. And of course, when we were in Manhattan, it was right around that time of I think this being on maybe.
Oh, okay.
So there was some, or the anniversary, it might have been around the time.
Right.
So there was some talk on the news of it and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that event's been called, their appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show, one of the most important events in television history,
Yeah,
and one of the most important events in music history. Like
Yeah,
that's
Mhm.
it's pretty big right there,
for sure.
And anyway, I guess I should talk about my favorite band of the moment. For me, I think I'd have to go Bastille. I've been listening to a lot of them. They're a band out of the UK. You guys may know them already. They've been pretty popular the last little while. The 1975 are an awesome act as well. V's already mentioned them. And I've also been listening to a lot of old school rap lately, believe it or not.
Nice.
So Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, Eminem, which makes me sound way cooler than I am because, or maybe it doesn't, depending on your perspective. But I've just been into, I think it's because how it happened with us having our trip to New York. We were listening to Jay-Z and his song with, who does he do the song with?
It's Alicia Keys
That's
and it's
right.
Empire State of Mind.
That's the
Yeah.
one. So we were listening to that, and then I sort of just from there, branched out to other Jay-Z stuff, and then I was like, oh yeah, some Dre and some Eminem into the mix. So
Nice.
that's sort of what's been playing for me lately. But yeah, I think maybe we should get into another song. And Do you want to give us yours, Mike?
Yeah,
or-
sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna play a tune from Devon Coyote, and it's off his new EP, Broken Down. Devon, I've sort of gotten to know pretty well through the studio here, and his bass player Darcy was actually my bass player in the Unknown Culprits, so kind of ties there in that. So it's really cool to see Darcy doing so much with Devon, and these guys are on the road like crazy. You guys did an interview with them, so you kind of know their schedule
They work
is,
so hard.
yeah, is insane. So yeah, the song I'm gonna play is called Little Hero.
Well, rest from the feature line, their naked suntan churning out. We'll take a sword, turn to you and ask what you think we should do with this afternoon. Well, I was thinking I should do you. So you turn and you walk away now, and I turn and I follow you down beach on one side, ocean on the other. Watch the fish swim in the water. Say you wanna wrestle alligators. I'll give you what you want, baby, but it still won't save us. Maybe a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero, no. Maybe a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero. Well, daylight fades and we're in tonight now. Watch the moon shine on through the cloudy eerie glow is out on the ocean. Wraps our bodies into motion. We swing, we jive, we rock. I said, come on, baby, don't you stop. I said, suck me up and let you up, you know. Maybe a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero, no. Maybe a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero. Tonight, and I know we can't fight all that we feel deep down inside, and it does seem so much warmer in here than it did just before. And I shed my clothes, you lose yours as our naked bodies they hit the floor. Oh no, I may be a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero, no. Maybe a little hero in my mind. Maybe a little hero, So na 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 oh, na 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 na.
That was Little Hero from Devon Coyote. And we actually did a cool acoustic version of that, so maybe we'll throw it up on the a link to the Facebook page there.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good. Let's
I
do
need
it.
to hear the original and then hear something a little bit different too.
Awesome.
Cool. If you guys have been listening to us the last couple of weeks, you'll know we've sort of done this thing called Epic Story Time, or something like that. Is that what we've called it?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Something terrible like that. Anyway, basically the idea of it is, if you haven't heard it, it's basically a story that's music related. It can be like heavily music related, or it can be just a very small tenuous link. But it's just got to be an epic story that's, interesting, something amazing that happened, maybe someone you met, on and on and on, just anything that's connected to music. So we've all sort of shared stories of our own, apart from me. So I figure it's my turn this week. Now, I already talked a bit longer than I anticipated talking about New York, and I apologize for that. Hope nobody got annoyed by that. But you'll remember that when I was talking about that, I mentioned what we call power trip. And what I mean by that is, when me and V go away, often how we do it, because we don't have very much money, we've done a couple of trips in the last couple of years where, rather than not go at all, we've ended up just going for a couple of days because that's all we can afford. So when we do that, we go and we just throw everything into like those 2 or 3 days and just do as much as we possibly can. I'm sure plenty of you guys out there do that as well. And so we did a similar thing a couple of years ago when we went down to Los Angeles. San Diego, actually. But what I'm going to do, and even though this is my story, it's sort of our story, like me and V did this together. And because I've already talked a lot, I'm going to pass the baton over to her, and she's going to sort of tell it for both of us, and I'll just chip in if there's anything she accidentally forgets.
Awesome.
That I wanted in there.
I don't know how I feel about the baton reference, given that I can't run, but I'll do my best, I guess.
Thank you.
So yeah, a couple of years ago, not surprisingly, here comes another Morrissey Smith's reference. It was a couple of days before Vince's birthday, and it also happened to be there's a concert in San Diego. Morrissey was playing this concert in San Diego on his birthday, which happens to be a couple of days before Vince's birthday. So we decided that we were going to buy tickets for it. At this point, we haven't really figured out how we're going to get there yet. God knows we can't afford to fly and get planes and hotel rooms and all of that. But we're like, we'll worry about that later. Just buy the tickets. And then we have no choice but to go because we have the tickets. So we did that. Kind of freaked out because we didn't really know what we were doing. So in the end, all that we could scrape together was about $300 each to drive down to San Diego from Kelowna and back. So for those of you who maybe your geography is not that strong, San Diego is 36 miles from the Mexican border. Kelowna is about a 4-hour drive from Vancouver, which is like an hour and a half drive north of Seattle. So that kind of gives you an idea of the distance we're talking. So I think in total, I can't remember the exact hours and whatnot, but I think it ends up being like, if you were to drive straight through, it's like a 27-hour drive, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it's 27 hours. So in addition to only having $600 between the two of us, we also could only afford to take so many days off work. So we only had 6 days to drive from Kelowna to San Diego and then back with our $600.
Did we really have 6 days?
It was 6 days.
Well, that sounds longer than it was.
Well, it was technically only 5 days, but we weren't going to make it back in time. So we ended up having to take an extra day off.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So in the end, we slept in rest stops, and then we did couch surfing in Los Angeles. So we stayed in LA for an entire day, learned the train system there, and managed to see probably about as much as you would want to see in Los Angeles in an entire day. We saw just about everything, short of like having to pay admission to go into anything.
Yeah, I mean, we crammed a lot in. There was stuff we missed, obviously, but like we got a full day out of it. Like, we saw a lot of the things that we wanted to check off, like a to-see list. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we probably got like two or 3 days worth of normal person time stuff into one day.
Can I just do a shout out as well? Amoeba Records. If anyone's going down to LA, and I know you are soon, Mike.
Yeah.
Gotta check that place out. It's so awesome.
Cool.
It's like, I don't know, it's like a record store on crack, or like musical Disneyland. Like, there's many ways you could describe it. There's just record upon record and so many different genres. Like, I think the one that always sticks out with me, and I know you took a picture of this, V, was they had an entire section in this record store dedicated to experimental spoken word comedy. Like, where can you even find that stuff usually, let alone find a section that's dedicated to it, you know?
Wow.
So anyway, just check it out if you're down in LA and you're looking for somewhere to buy a record. That's a place to go. Sorry, V.
No, it's okay. Yeah, so basically, moral of the story is took us a few days to drive down to San Diego and then like 2 days of power driving back to Kelowna in order to be back to work. Saw Morrissey. It was amazing. I cried. Vince didn't, surprisingly.
I cried on the inside.
I cried on the outside. By the way, I don't know if that was a reference or not, but it is.
Nicely done.
So yeah, that's kind of the epic story. I mean, it's the lengths you go to see an artist that you really, really like. And of course with Morrissey, he's always threatening to quit or retire or whatever. So it kind of was one of those things where we needed to take advantage of that opportunity right then, because God only knows if he's going to do another tour or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
As it happens, he did, and we could have waited. But
yeah, no, but it was such a rad time, and even though we had such a short time down there, like we often think back to that trip because it was so much fun. Like even just sleeping in the rest stops, we slept in one. We sort of had goals for ourselves with the driving. You know, we need to get to here by this time because we've got such a limited window, right? And so the first rest stop we stayed in was just in Northern California, and that's where we got to, I think, on the first day. But it was so beautiful. Like it was just vast open sky, and you could see so many stars. And we slept in the back of our Prius, and so it's got like this big. The way a Prius is, you know, it's got the big glass
right
on the trunk there, right?
Yeah.
So you could just see the stars as you're looking up. It was just beautiful. And I often think back to that, you know, it was just,
cool.
You know, just great. But basically, yeah, the gist of it was we had 6 days, $600 to drive down to LA, thousands of miles from Kelowna to see Morrissey, and it was so worth it.
Nice.
And the girl we met down there when we were couch surfing as well, she's just fantastic. You know, when you meet someone and you have like a connection, you're like a life friend.
Right.
We had that thing go on, and she, you know, taught us stuff about the city, told us some places to go that were where the locals go, so we felt cool. Stuff like that. But we just had a total blast.
Nice.
One of the funny things about the Morrissey show, when we got there and we were at the concert, you know, when you think of Morrissey and the Smiths, there's a certain type of fan that maybe comes to mind. You're thinking of like maybe the waif hipster, you know, like when we were at the show, we had these 2 huge Mexican dudes heavily tattooed next to us in the row, and just not the sort of guys you expect to see at a Morrissey show. But of course, Morrissey has a huge Latin American following. But these guys were awesome. You know, when I first saw them, I was like, whoa, those are some scary bros right there, right? Like, but they were awesome. They knew like every word to every song.
Nice.
They were just giving her when he came out, they're just singing away. And I love those guys. They were awesome. And unfortunately, they ended up getting moved because they must have been in the wrong seats.
Oh.
And it was really too bad because the people they got replaced with, they were perfectly fine. You know, they looked more like how you'd expect a typical Morrissey fan to look. But they were just not into it as much. And I was like, oh, I miss those guys. But yeah, it was just, the thing was, they just didn't look like you would expect, you know, a Morrissey fan to look in your mind. But they were great. They were awesome. They really give a. Anyway. Should we dive into your song, V, if you ready to hook us up?
Yeah, for sure. So this week, I'm going to play a song called Open Up Your Mind by The Demon Parade. So The Demon Parade are a band out of Melbourne, and the best way that I could describe this song is it's grimy Beatles. So it sounds like the Beatles, but if instead of taking acid, they took something darker. It's like that. You'll like this one, Mike.
Nice.
When you see what I do,
So that was The Demon Parade with Open Up Your Mind.
Cool. If anybody out there, you're wondering where you can find the music that we have on the show, what we do when the episodes come out is we post it on our Facebook page, and then we tag the bands who we have on each show over on Facebook there, so you can find them that way. You know, click through, you'll find their page, and then from there you'll get links to the website where you can buy the music, all that stuff. And one of our fans out there, Ken, hi Ken, if you're listening, he's told me that he's bought the music. Some of the music we featured, was it last week? I think it was the week before, actually. He bought Emma Shepherd's stuff and also Newman's.
Right
so
on.
that's awesome. Yeah, he told me that, and I was like, that's so cool. That's exactly
Yeah.
why we do this. So we were so chuffed with that. And we really appreciate it, and I know that the acts do as well. So
Definitely.
but yeah, that's where you can find it. Head onto our Facebook page, give us a like, keep up to date. But yeah, any of the music you hear and you're wondering what was the name of that band, you'll find it all on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, anything you guys want to add to that?
No, I just think it's cool that when people, let us know that they do stuff like that, that goes a long way for us too, just to know that people are doing what we're hoping that they're going to do. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think I've said it before, but with us doing this on our own time, it's nice to know that people are listening.
Yeah.
And it's not just us three sitting in a room and then putting it out there and nobody really listens and nobody really cares, because we do it to promote the music. So if people are listening, they hear the music, and it's an all-around great thing. We enjoy doing it, and we get to promote awesome music too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
we see the stats. We know people are listening, just so we don't give the wrong impression.
yeah, for sure.
But it's nice when you get a letter saying that
Yeah.
they are indeed listening. It's not just a robot downloading the show or something.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and that goes, not just Ken, anybody out there who has bought any of the music that they've heard on the show or anything like that, or you just found a band that you really liked, let us know. We'd love to hear that.
Mhm.
Post it on our Facebook, tweet us, whatever it is you want to do. Actually, I should say it's probably fairly obvious, but I didn't mention it. If you're looking for us on Facebook, it's just Alt Rock Radio now. Same goes for Twitter as well, so you can find us there. Oh, and even Google Plus. Hey, it's good for SEO, yo.
For those of you who Google Plus.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's always really, really awesome to hear from the people who are listening to us. So, you can, give us feedback, and that's good and bad, because we can't get better if we don't know that we're doing something that is painful, maybe. Maybe you're sick of hearing about our vacations. I completely understand if that's the case. I mean, I hope not, because our vacations are awesome. But just, give us feedback. Tell us about bands that you're liking right now. If, your buddy's in a band, if you're in a band, tell us about it. We'll check them out, maybe play them on the show.
Totally. All right. Ready for another song?
Yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? All right.
I feel like a dog you're trying to get really psyched up to go for a car ride.
Who wants a snack?
Oh my God.
All right. Well, next up, we've got a song from Summer Fiction, and they're an alternative rock let me get this right. Alternative rock baroque pop act. They've got a real range to their sound, and they're based in Philly and New York City. And I found these guys online, and I instantly dig their sound. And I was stoked when I went to their Facebook page and I saw a status that said, "I never wanted to kill. I am not naturally evil," which, as some of you out there may know, is a Morrissey reference. So I was like, yes, from a really great song, actually, Last of the Famous International Playboys. So check it out if you don't know it. But anyway, I was a bit worried as well, because their most recent update was pretty old, like it was from a couple of years ago. So I was like, oh, I hope they haven't broken up, because, I listen to a lot of music and finding a lot of bands through Bandcamp and stuff like that. Every now and then you'll stumble across one who you're listening to and you're like, I love this sound, yeah. And you'll go dig a bit further and you'll find out they broke up 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, like that actually happened to me just today. I found this awesome band out of the UK, and I can't even remember the name now, but I was really digging the sound, and then I looked and they'd broken up. They had like a message on the Facebook page saying something like, for anyone that cares, we're not really doing this anymore or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's harsh. But anyway, I should get back to my point. No such concerns with these guys. They've not broken up. It looks like they just don't use Facebook very often. So they've actually got a new record on the way this year, and it'll be their sophomore album. And the song we're going to listen to today comes from their debut album, and it's called She's Bound to Get Hurt. So once again, that was Summer Fiction with their song, She's Bound to Get Hurt. We're getting close to the end of this week's episode, and we were just chatting while the song was playing there, whether we had anything else we wanted to sort of chew the fat over, but I think we're sort of talked out, hey?
Yeah, I think we should talk about your shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wants to describe them? Which of you guys wants to describe
That
them?
might be your area
I don't know.
of
I was thinking
expertise.
it'd be funnier if Mike describes them.
You know what, Mike? You do like your boots. You
I
can't
do.
deny that, even though, well, you're kind of rocking boots today, right? Are they boots or shoes?
They're hiking boots.
There you go.
They're covered in mud, yeah.
You're a boot kind of guy.
I think that those deserve a photo is what they need, because you can't just describe those. Look at them.
I know. They're pretty... The only thing that could make those shoes more hipster is if you found them in a vintage store. And I know you didn't, but they're... We'll take a photo and show the world.
Okay. We'll take a photo, but we should say, just because to give people an idea, they're Union Jack Doc Martens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you'll see a picture because they are pretty awesome. I love these boots. Plus, they make me like 2 inches taller when I wear them.
Nice.
No, just kidding. Well, they do, but no, I just love these shoes.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, are you doing it right now?
I'm gonna do it live.
Snapping it right now. Interesting.
There we go.
All right. Well, let's jump into our final song then, rather than rambling on too much longer. It comes from the Obsessives, and they're a 2-piece alternative punk rock act out of Washington, D.C., and they've got a new EP on the way. It drops on March 11th. For now, they've released one song from the EP, and that's what we're going to listen to right now. It's called Blackberry Tint.
Staring off in the direction of your own chapped lips, kind of signal to prompt you to kiss. I'm getting signals of distress, just staring at my phone, thinking about what it's like when you undress, or if you care if I stare because I care. You're looking at me over your glasses, the ones you found in Granddad's attic, and you're wishing your outlook were as dark as your lips with that Blackberry tint. Blackberry tint. Blackberry tint. Blackberry tint.
All right, so once again, that was the Obsessives, and that was their song Blackberry Tint. I know that's not talking about BlackBerry, the phone in the song, but do you remember when people used to have, like, they were all the rage? BlackBerry?
Yeah, I was never a fan.
No, me neither.
I think some people still use them. I've heard some people in like the tech industry and stuff ragging on people who have BlackBerry phones, and that makes me kind of sad. But I just don't, there's like no support or anything for them anymore.
Yeah.
Does that even work?
Yeah, I don't even know. I just was thinking about it then because I remember like a few years ago they were pretty like close rivals with the iPhone. I think a lot of people were like, no, I'll get the BlackBerry's for business, iPhone is for kids, or whatever, right? And now it's like, yeah, you don't really see BlackBerries anymore.
No.
So yeah, anyway, random.
Yeah, I saw that coming. You think like, that's not my area of expertise, and I'm sure a lot of people are the same way. Just like you could see that they were quickly, becoming useless.
Yeah.
With everything else, and then they just took one last shot at it and failed. It was too late for them. So
Totally.
Interesting, man. That that's your industry, and you kind of just let it go to shit in a hurry.
And I will say I've always been like an Apple fanboy. Well, I'm not a fan. I know that that's an actual, like, there's a connotation with that when you say that.
Yeah.
I'm not like a full-on Apple fanboy, but I've always liked the iPhone, and
Yeah.
I just dig it, you know, like it's just, I just enjoy having it and using it, and I just like the way it works and all that stuff, you know. It's just the phone's just good for me. But where I'm going with this, if anyone out there from Apple is listening, because we do have this obviously on iTunes, I was not very happy with what happened with my phone in New York there. Like, and I have friends who've had a similar problem out east as well, who are from like Eastern Canada, and they said when it gets to a certain temperature, the phone just tells them. Basically, what it was doing is, even though I had full battery,
Right.
it was telling me I had no battery.
That's happened to me quite a few times too.
Yeah.
And often, like, I'll walk home from here quite a bit, and that's kind of how I like to wind down after a long day, even if it's late at night or whatever. And I just like to listen to music or listen to a podcast, and the fucking thing dies on the way home, and it's like, oh, I've got, you know, a 40-minute walk. I just want to unwind and listen to something, and
Totally.
it drives me insane.
Well, it's never happened to me before, but it was weird because I'd warm it up in my hands or whatever, and it would work again. You know, it would turn back on, and it's just. But then it would die again because it was cold. I couldn't keep rubbing it and use it, right? So, well, you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about, Mike.
I just want to say that stuff doesn't happen with my Samsung Galaxy. Saying.
This has turned into a very techie show all of a sudden. But yeah, all I will say, the last point I'll say about the phone dying is it limited selfie opportunities, particularly on Brooklyn Bridge. We wanted to do one, and then next thing you know, it's not working anymore. And some people may say that's a good thing, but but yeah, so, you know, if anyone from Apple's listening, you know, a little bit of compensation, maybe put us in the featured. You know, put the show in featured. That would be nice. That would be some good compensation.
We're still in what's hot, but they can bump us up somewhere else.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. You know, I still like Apple. I still like the brand. So
likewise, we're surrounded, but there's Apple stuff everywhere in here. So do us a favor, Apple. Come on.
Anyway, I think on that note, we should end this week's show. For you guys out there listening, we'd really appreciate if you could help us spread the word about the show. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We all do this in our own time, and we do it to promote the music. So if you've got a couple of minutes and you don't mind promoting us on your social media, telling your friends, whatever it is, we would really, really appreciate that. And you can also review us over on iTunes as well. We have mentioned that. And you can subscribe to us on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. All those things go a long way to helping us spread the word. So please keep that in mind, and we'll be back next week with episode 14 of Alt Rock Radio Now. And until then, you know, keep listening, listen back to our previous episodes, and check out the bands and let them know where you found them and all that stuff. All right, goodbye for now.
Alt Rock Radio Now is brought to you in part by Czek Creative. Czek Creative is a Kelowna-based digital agency that delivers results across Canada. Learn more at czekcreative.com. That's CSEK creative.com.